Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I hope you've enjoyed the GM416 content that's been on the channel. I know a few of you have been really interested about That's No More, so we'll continue to do stuff. I've started setting it up and probably going to take it to the event with me in August. Now, bit of a different video for you today. Not sure if I mentioned it in videos before. I actually got contacted by Silverback Airsoft, which was a big shock to mine. I was very critical of the MDR. I pointed out loads of issues. People didn't believe me. I proved it on video, and here we are today. They sent me an email asking if I wanted to collaborate with them, and I was like, yeah, of course. You know, I'll work with any manufacturer whatsoever, as long as I'm not tied into anything where, you know, it's paid for or anything like that, where I can't really speak, you know, my honest mind on stuff. They said they'd like to collaborate with me on their new Tac-41 Lite release. They've released a load of new models in the Tac-41 line, and I said yeah, and then they said that they'd actually listened to my feedback in my videos about the MDR, and, you know, would I be interested in working with them in the future? Yes, of course. So they said they were going to send me some bits. They did say they were going to send me a Tac-41 Lite, so that's the one with the small polymer stock and the metal receiver, I think, because they do the Lite, then they'll do the Lite Sport, which is the one with the polymer receiver, and then they do the new Tac-41P Sport, which is like the big full size, but with the polymer receiver. And I thought I was going to get two rifles. Actually, when it turned up, I've only got the one, which, again, I'm still very grateful for them sending it to me. And it was actually weird because, well, it's actually, what do you call it? Surprising or appreciated that they said in their email, we're going to send you this rifle, and they very specifically stated in their email before I'd even replied that I was going to be sent some rifles and I had the freedom to do whatever I want. The only thing they asked is if I had any questions, just get in touch with them. So if I speak about it, the information is correct, which, you know, of course. So only one rifle turned up, which I'm not. The only thing that disappointed me really was I was looking forward to sort of comparing the two new models and showing you what the differences are. Obviously, you get a metal receiver to a plastic receiver. Now, I can't do that, which I was hoping to do, but that's not a problem because they have sent a couple of accessories so we can switch it up for you. So I'm going to struggle to get this in shot, but just there's a massive, long Tac-41 box. Let's open this up here. This is the P Sport. So this has the normal big style polymer stock. Got a manual there, which I'm just going to pan this through the camera so you can see it because the box is huge. So we've got a black polymer Sport. We've got a patch in there. We've got some extra butt pads. We've got the new cheaper style cylinder. So I'm going to pull this stuff out so we can show you. So you've got the cylinder in the box. We have the pin, which I think is under the gun because I was just making sure the gun functioned before I got it on camera, which it did. So there's the pin. We've got some stock spacers, which I won't bother too much with for the moment. And we do have a Tac-41P patch as well. So let's pull the rifle out, get the box out of the way, because this is very difficult with the Tac-41. I did struggle with, you know, my original Tac-41, which I purchased. So disclaimer, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory from my intro of the video, but this was sent to me free of charge. I don't have to pay anything for it, but, you know, there is nothing here saying that I have to say good things about it or anything like that. So the Tac-41P Sport. Now, this is considerably lighter than my Tac-41, and that's quite a welcome thing because my full-size Tac-41, it's got the aluminium chassis stock. It's got the, you know, the metal upper receiver. It's got a short barrel on it. It's got a suppressor, and it weighs an absolute ton. Now, the great thing about their P Sport, their Light and their Light Sport, is they've drastically reduced the price. Now, it depends on where you get them, but the polymer versions are the same great Tac-41, or great if you want to call it. I had a lot of issues with my first one, let's not lie. But the same Tac-41, you get a polymer receiver. So this is all one piece of plastic, I believe. But it functions pretty much the same way. And we have differences in the cylinder as well. So it's pin cylinder and it's a different colour. It's like a silver colour rather than the black. And they've just reduced costs. I can't remember the exact price of the Light Sport and the P Sport. I'll put them somewhere over the video, like a list of the models and what you can get. But they're very, very cost effective. And also, because they're shedding all this weight, it's great for new players, young players. They can run this platform without having to lug around a heavy rifle. So you get one short magazine in the box, you get the cylinder, you get the pin, which I put there. More on that pin a little bit later. And you get probably one of the best manuals that you tend to get in the airsoft industry. You know, everything's super well designed. They've got like this theme of like the model in like a CAD software. So it's telling you how to fit the cylinder. There's tools in the stock on the P. You know, where the pin for the cylinder is in the box, how to install it. You've got obviously where to install it, where to store the tools, the safety, how to fill the mag, how to put the mag in, what not to do with the mag to, you know, avoid ejecting your BBs all over the place, putting the mag in and out, shooting operation, how it works, feed ramp reset, so you've got the little button inside there to clear the feeding ramp of BBs, which way adds up, which way takes it off, and then they show you the full suite. They do have a very good selection of videos on their YouTube channel. The only criticism, which I've said before about their YouTube channel, is they do stuff and they write at the bottom. I think they could go a long way talking over the videos, and maybe that's something I can help them with if they want to, you know, go down that route. I would happily do that because I think it's a little bit easier to follow along when you're talking over the video and explaining it rather than people having to focus on the text at the bottom. So here's the Tac-41 PS, and you'll see here it's pretty much a Tac-41. The polymer, I mean, a lot of people, I imagine, won't have a problem with a polymer receiver anyway, but it's actually really, really nice quality. It sort of fits in with the rest of the finish, and I can't believe how incredibly light this thing is. It's one of the key things that stands out for me. So to install it straight out the box, make sure, so your handle will fold up and down. I always make sure the handle's up. We can slide this in from the back, press the trigger, that will enable you to push this in, and then we fold it down like that. Now there is 2 Allen keys in the stock. You basically remove, you loosen off the cheek riser, pull this up, there's a rubber membrane here, you pull that out. In fact, I might as well show you because, you know, there's one thing saying it, but some of you guys want to see it. So you pull this rubber membrane out, you've got a smaller size Allen key, a bigger size Allen key, and the bigger size Allen key has a threaded section on the bottom there, which I'll show you what that's for just now. Sometimes it can be a bit of a pain putting this rubber membrane back in. I've actually managed to do it first time this time. Let's pop that in there. So we'll get this cylinder set in, and then we'll talk about, do a quick overview of the Tac-41 PS. So we screw this in, and you've got little flat sections on the stopper, and you basically want them pointed towards the barrel. So we put it up like that, point the flat sections towards the front of the barrel, and we push it in here like this. And the only criticism I have about this design, and I've had this happen when I first installed this out the box just to make sure everything was fine, and on my other Tac-41, is this pin can rotate even though it's got that flat edge. I think I have had it fall out on my other Tac-41, but it might be that this has a weak spring in from the factory. Who knows? So now that's assembled, what is the Tac-41? Tac-41 is a bolt-action sniper, airsoft sniper rifle that is, from Silverback Airsoft. They've done very well with their SRS line. The Tac-41 original release was a little bit spotty, but they're one of those companies that if there's a problem and they fix it, you tend to get like upgrade care packages from them, you know, rectifying. We saw it with the MDR, with the electronic upgrade and like the gears and everything. You get the upgrade kit for the V2. Now, the Tac-41 PS, we're going to talk about, because obviously I've talked about the Tac-41 before. It's a bolt action sniper rifle. It's got a polymer stock. You can adjust the cheek riser, and it's not sort of segmented, so you can sort of set it anywhere you want. You're not, you know, sort of stuck with certain clicks, shall we say. So we can set that there. We've got short mags, but we do have, not to hand right now, but you can have the larger magazines as well. And the first round of Tac-41s did have a bit of an issue with the feed ramps, where if you didn't insert the mag quite the correct way, you'd have a bit of trouble. They soon rectified that and sent out like replacement feed ramps to everybody for the version 2, and then that problem went away. So just like any bolt action, you charge the bolt like that. It's very silky smooth. Push it forward, and then to fire, you just pull the trigger. Safety's found on the back here, like so. And I'll be honest, after handling the Tac-41P, I did upgrade to the chassis, the Tac-41A, I think they call it, chassis, with the side folder. Just because, for me personally, I didn't quite get on with this style of polymer stock. Now, instead of sending me 2 rifles, however, they have sent the light chassis. So I'll show you this just here. I have already opened this, so the components did come wrapped in plastic, but all packages that I get before I put them on the video, I just quickly check them over just to make sure everything's okay. Now, this is basically a polymer version of the aluminium chassis. Now, what I did like about the aluminium chassis, it did move the safety from here to near the trigger guard, and it was easier to operate. Now, this chassis I am quite looking forward to, and you know, going forward on the build series, I'm probably going to switch out to this, which I'll be doing a little bit in the video, because we can use, you know, AR-15 style grips. It's a little bit sleeker, a little bit shorter. I love my short builds. And the Tac-41A chassis that I've got, I have spent a lot of money on that thing. One of the gripes I had with it was the side folder came round to the right, which with a predominantly right-handed, most users are going to use them right-handed. It didn't make sense. And I did say in the video, it's got like a little rubber stopper. I was hoping that they could come out with like a different bracket so you could fold it the other way. Because the problem with the Tac-41A chassis is to fold the stock, you have to have the bolt handle up. Now, if you're folding the stock, in my mind, you're stowing it or you're carrying it on your back as a, you know, a secondary rifle or something like that. And because you can't put the handle down, if you push it on your gear, you could end up loading multiple BBs into the chamber. Now, let's get this converted over to the light chassis, because 1, it's probably going to be easier to get in frame, and 2, it's how I'm going to want to run it. So bear in mind, if you buy a Tac-41 PS, you're not going to get this with it, but the plus side to it is you can get the Tac-41 Lite, which comes in this chassis with the metal receiver, or you can get the Tac-41 LS Light Sport, which has this chassis but has the polymer upper receiver. So I'm pretty sure from memory this is very straightforward. It looks like we won't need the trigger guard on this because it's all built into this chassis. So this could be, you know, considered a little bit of a guide if you've got the 41P and you've bought the light chassis. So what we're going to do, we're going to get this switched out. Let's find an Allen key of the correct size, and you watch, I'm not going to have this to hand now. This one fits. An Allen key, I think it's a 4mm that we need. That one fits, it might be a 5mm, who knows. So we can slot this in here, and then all I'm going to do, because like a numpty, I haven't got all the correct tools to hand, I'm just going to use something for leverage on the Allen key. And we've got 2 screws in the magwell. So the Tac-41 PS has a red feed ramp, and the Tac-41 Lite has a blue feed ramp. I'm not sure if there's any differences there. I would imagine they just do it, I don't know, as they put the blue ones in the lights and they put the red ones in the Ps. Really not too sure on that one. Perhaps they had all the polymer stocks built and they've just put the new parts into the polymer stocks they already have in stock. That could be what it is, because the original Tac-41s had a red feed ramp. So we take those 2 screws out. What we can do, we can lift the P stock off and we can set it to one side. Now the great thing about the P stock is you can stow the tools in the stock under the cheek riser, and with the light we won't be able to do this. But while we're changing this over, and I drop the nuts out for the stock there, we get to take a look at this new polymer receiver. Now, some of you might be like, wincing that the fact that the plastic and receiver are mentioned, but honestly, I think they've done this really intelligently. It kind of makes sense now I've seen it. I wasn't 100%. I did, when they said they were going to send me a light and a polymer sport, in my head, I was already saying, right, I'm going to run it with the metal receiver. But after receiving this, honestly, I can say that it's going to benefit to do this new build that we're going to do on the channel and try and build it as light as possible, because I'm going to be having this as a secondary. The full Tac-41 I'd probably carry as a primary, but let's say I'm going, I've got my MWS or my TMAKM or whichever gas blowback I'm using, and I want to carry a bolty. This is going to be perfect for that because of how light it is. Now there might be some differences here. Now I can turn the barrel, so I'm not sure the process of this, it might be a little bit different. So let's get these screws just backed off here. So we've got 3 screws holding this together, which pinches the outer barrel on. The other models with the metal receiver, they do have a pin system here like that. Perhaps I could turn it just because it was slightly loose. So if you are running one of these rifles, just nip the screws up, make sure they're nice and tight, but don't go overboard with it. And this almost, with the cylinder in, it really doesn't weigh a lot at all. It captures the trigger components. I'll put the nuts in just to be a fair test. But we're going to see how much this weighs with the cylinder in. Weighs 574 grams, that. And that might sound like a lot, but honestly, it feels so incredibly light. I'm actually really surprised about this. I thought I wasn't going to like this, but how wrong was I? So let's get this put in. So we're going to put these captivated nuts, slide them back into the receiver and dump them out again because I'm a dumbass. So we're going to slide this in. Slide this in. What would be nice is some way of just keeping those in so they're not bouncing around. And we're going to take the light chassis and we're going to flip that over, hopefully, and slide it in. And there we go. We have a light chassis in. We use the 2 mounting screws from the PS. Let's get these in. So these go in super easy. I imagine that these are always the same screw and you don't need different sizes. It would make sense. Now, before I put this screw in, we can see that nut has shifted a little bit, so we're just going to dance it back into position and screw this in. And then, because the Allen key isn't long enough on the other end, I'm just going to use a handle. This is a good trick. You can just use it to get torque on Allen keys. As I really messed this up this demonstration. So we're going to put this in here, and I'm just going to use the slot in the screwdriver handle, just a bit of torque on that. And like I say, this is a good trick if your Allen keys are not long enough on the other end to get some torque on them. Now we don't want to go overboard, and there we go. So we're going to pop the barrel system back in, and basically you line that little notch up, push it in, twist it home. Once it's twisted back, we can do these screws. And the way I've always done these screws is I just go outside both. Again, you could do this many ways. I go outside both sides, and then I go in the middle, and then I go outside again, and I just do it incrementally. Again, you don't want to go overboard, but you also want to make sure that nothing's loose for your game day. Now, it's a little bit easier to fit in the shop. You do get the other part of the stock, so you've got two like Picatinny style mouldings in the stock, and you get this little funky doodad. We place this on here. Might have to back the screws out to do this. Let's remove the screws. I'm going to place one on the underside, place the stock on, place the other one on top. I'm going to put one of the screws through, and we're going to tighten it up. It's a Torx. You watch me not have the right Torx now. I think it's a T20. That looks like a T20 to me. T20 screw. Screw it in the one side, and then we're going to flip it over and screw it in the other side. What you might have to do there is just loosen the one so these line up properly. Get them located like that, and then tighten them both up. And the reason why I like this stock is because it's giving us the perfect connection point to put a folding stock on, and that's the first thing I'm going to do. As nice as this stock is, and it is very, very rigid, you know, hats off to them for that, and this thing is even lighter now, I would put a folding stock on. Because of the way that it is, I can put whatever stock I want. I can have it folding around the left side so it's out the way. And the major gripe I had with the Tac-41 chassis is rectified. So we're going to be building this on the channel. We're also going to be talking over a few points. There's an interesting shim setup on the hop-up unit that we're going to have to talk about, which I'll do in the next video because we're already up to 22 minutes. I just wanted to get the overview of the new Silverback rifles through to you guys so you can get the information that you need. And yeah, this is very cool indeed. Now, before we go, we're going to chrono this thing. Now, we are going to be chronoing on 0.3s just because that's what I've got to hand. I don't have any 2s. You guys know my style. Pretty much everything on the channel, I chrono on a 0.3 gram BB. And to fill the mag, we're just going to fill it up like this. Really easy to fill. I am going to fill the mag up because with the Silverback Tac-41 product line, you have a, completely missed the mark there, didn't I? You have a feed tube. So what this does is it takes the BBs from your mag, it takes it up a feed ramp and puts it into the hop unit where it needs to be. That means that the first time you put your mag in, you're going to lose however many rounds it takes as a buffer to prime the feed tube. That's what we're going to call it, priming the feed tube. So when I go to a game, what I'll do, sometimes I'll take a sacrificial short mag. I'll load it in like that. I can pull up the magazine out, 2 BBs will fall out, and that is primed, ready to go. What that means is you could then take a full magazine and you're going to get your full load of BBs that you've got loaded in your mag because we've primed the feed tube. So we're going to put this back in. We're going to get the old chrono. We're set to 0.3 gram BBs. Let's see how nice and light this is. That cylinder is super smooth. Super smooth. Really long barrel on this. We are at 1.575 joules. We are at hop setting 1 on the hop unit. With any sniper rifle, you don't want to chrono with no hop on because you will get pressure buildup when you put hop on. We are at 1.593 joules. Let's do one more. And we are at 1.589 joules. So pretty consistent. We can fire this thing pretty quick. It's very smooth. There's a tiniest bit of side movement in the cylinder, but you're going to need some kind of tolerance Otherwise the thing would be too damn stiff to use. So I hope I've got the information out there. You can expect more videos coming on this new product lineup from Silverback. We'll be doing some instructional videos, extra tips and bits for you. Anything you want to see featured in those subsequent videos, you can pop up the ideas down in the comments below. If there's anything specific that you want to see, there's also in the link below a whole bunch of links. Someone mentioned about me putting a link up there. So if you want to support the channel, but you don't want to go and make a purchase on the website, you can do that by the link that's buy me a coffee. You basically just spend $5, I think it is, supporting the channel, and you'll get to buy me a coffee every now and again to keep me going doing these videos. After that, you'll find a link for the Discord. Go ahead and join the Discord. We're like 700-800 members at the moment, and we're building a Jaeger Precision community, and I absolutely love it. There's some really switched on people in there. Everyone's respectful. It's a really nice place to be. Thanks very much for tuning this video. I hope you're ready for some more Tac-41 content, because it's coming. Thank you very much to Silverback for supplying this rifle for review purposes, testing, anything like that. And as always, from me and from Bench, we'll see you in the next video.